Hey everyone, Joy here with subrosatea.com. In today's video, I'm going to talk to you all about elderberries and our elderberry syrup kit. Friends, we are a really small company based in Northern Ohio. We will ship anywhere in the United States. If there is no red live above my head, that simply means you're watching it on the replay. Feel free to use the hashtag replay, and you can shop as you normally would on our website at subrosatea.com. Right now, you should be able to see words above my head and my kitchen counter. If you cannot, please tap my nose. It'll expand the video to your full viewing screen. I am going to talk about our product that we sell, the elderberry syrup kit. In addition, everything I'm going to talk about, the recipes, the tips and techniques, those are all listed on the product page on our website. So you don't have to take anything down. Just sit back and relax, make yourself a cup of tea, and join us. Hello to everyone who's watching live over on the app. I appreciate it. I think technology is hopefully on our side this evening, and we're still trying to link up to both Facebook and Instagram. Friends, again, if you're watching it on the replay, we replay our videos over on our YouTube channel and on a page on our website. So you might not be able to ask questions if you're not live, but you can always send us an email at orders@subrosatea.com. I think all of us can agree that there certainly is a time and a place for conventional medicine and doctor's visits. Unfortunately, conventional medicine really can't help or do much for a common cold or a common flu virus. However, we all know that black elderberries have been shown to help you avoid illnesses, prevent the spread, and also speed the recovery if you happen to have one of those illnesses. Specifically, the black elderberries that we sell are organically grown. Our elderberry syrup kit includes 2 ounces of elderberries or 4 ounces, depending on which size that you buy, in addition to cinnamon stick, orange peel, cloves, and allspice. These are all ingredients that I have chosen specifically that are going to help this elderberry syrup taste fabulous, but also help the rest of your body work together to both prevent illness and, of course, speed the recovery if you got some. Hello, Miss Jennifer. Miss Jennifer just says she can't wait to get her Kyoto teapot. Thank you for your order, Jennifer. I really appreciate it. The fabulous thing about our elderberry syrup kit is that you can make it yourself. So for those of you who are living a sugar-free lifestyle, I'm going to help you give you some substitutions about the way it's regularly made. I'm going to talk to you about how we typically make it, especially for industry purposes, and how you can change it up and use it every single day for your whole family. I'm going to give you some ideas so your whole family can join in on the process. It is one of those really easy things to make. I have seen elderberry syrup as a liquid, like as a syrup, out in farmers markets and at shops and things like that, and I can't get over how expensive it is because it is something that you absolutely do not need any cooking skills to make. I'm going to show you how easy it is. You don't need a lot of instruments, you don't need any fancy gadgets. If you are new to the kitchen, do not be scared of this process. I'm really proud of how easy it is and also how good it is and how easy it is to use it for your taste. So why don't we just dive right in. First, if you're going to make your own elderberry syrup with our kit, you're going to need a pot that holds at least 3.5 cups of water. This is a pan that is really not all that big. 3.5 cups of water looks like this. This is my 4-cup measuring cup, so you're going to need something that can measure at least 3.5 cups of water. Keep in mind, this is going to boil down. It's going to reduce into a concentrate that yields 2 cups. You're also going to need some kitchen tongs. I'm hoping even a person who doesn't cook a lot would have a pair of kitchen tongs. Certainly not required. We'll get into it though, what you can use instead, but I highly recommend the tongs. Honestly, this is it. We're going to give you absolutely everything else. Oh, and you need a stove or a stove. Yeah, I'm going to go with a stove or a hot plate maybe. But the thing is, we're going to bring it to a boil. So I would say a stove would be best, but I'm hoping everyone has access to one of those, especially in order to save money to make your own elderberry syrup kit. So inside our elderberry syrup kit, like I said, you're going to get elderberries, cinnamon stick, orange peel, allspice, and cloves. You are also going to receive inside our elderberry syrup kit 2 brew bags. Each of these brew bags are made out of cheesecloth and they have a drawstring. So you're going to separate your elderberries and the mix, this entire mix, separate it into 2 of the bags. This is the amount that you're going to get when you buy our 2.5, our 2.5 ounce bag. If you buy our 5 ounce bag, it's double and you're going to get 4 bags. I recommend that you put either half of this into each bag or a quarter if you buy the 5 ounce. It's big enough. This cheesecloth is the perfect size for that amount, and the berries won't expand too much, but you don't want to overfill it because this is a drawstring top, and of course you want to make sure that the contents of your cheesecloth do not end up into your stock pot. If you've not done this before, the cheesecloth has a drawstring, and you can lay your drawstring over the lid of your pot. So the strings are on the outside, so you won't have to fish them out. And the rest of your cheesecloth is inside your pot. You will need a lid. Definitely grab a pot that you have a lid for. Pour your water in and bring your pot to a boil. Now, again, for those of you who don't cook, I will tell you that a boil is lots and lots of big, fat, rolling bubbles. Once it comes to a boil, you're going to turn the heat down so it simmers. Now, if it's not simmering, you won't see any bubbles at all, but a simmer is definitely baby, tiny bubbles, but some bubbles. A simmer is best for you to get all of the health benefits out of your elderberries and to get all of the nutrition out of the other ingredients that we've included in this particular product. And I think it tastes better that way. If you fall off a simmer, don't worry about it. If you notice, turn it up. But this is one of those things that it's not going to take any skill to make, and it doesn't take too much of your time. Turn the heat up on your pot. When you hear it bubbling, a rolling boil, then turn the heat down, but don't turn it off. You want to keep it at a simmer for about an hour. Depending on your particular oven, you might need to adjust the lid so it's half on and half off, maybe an inch more, but you might still need the lid to keep the simmer going. Personally, friends, I use an electric stove, so it's a little more complicated for me to simmer something than those of you who have a gas stove and you're really familiar with your pots, or if you cook often. Now, in this particular case, we are only going to be using the elderberry product and the cheesecloth once, one time. I'm the owner of a tea company. We sell loose leaf tea. Everything else that we sell, you can reuse. You really, really can. You can steep our tea leaves multiple times. I don't see why not. I think it tastes great multiple times because we have an all-natural product. It's organically grown. It's extremely fresh. You can use it multiple times. Cheesecloth, you can absolutely use multiple times. You would just take your tea leaves and put them right into your compost. Use hot water to rinse your cheesecloth bag and let it air dry. You can absolutely reuse cheesecloth, but in this particular instance, when we are making elderberry syrup, when this is done, after it's boiled down and you've made your concentrate, this bag is going to be filled with elderberries, and elderberries can absolutely stain the bag nice and purple and stain your fingers as you're trying to undo to get your berries into your compost pile. So in this particular case, I'm going to assume that you're just going to throw out the product when you're done. You're going to throw out your cheesecloth that's filled with your elderberries and spices, and that's it. In this case, we are trying to extract all of the flavor to make your syrup. All of the nutrients are going to be into your syrup. There's not going to be anything left. And like I said, it's just a little more complicated, and of course the potential to stain and make a huge mess if you don't just simply throw this out. When you're making yourself typically a cup of tea, it's not going going to stain your fingers to undo it. It's not going to be that hot, and it's not going to be that concentrated. You typically only steep tea for just a few minutes. Or, of course, these cheesecloth bags are really, really good to make big jugs of tea. They're also what professional chefs use to make stocks and stews when they are doing a huge herb bundle. When a home chef is using rosemary, for instance, or thyme, we would strip the leaves off the woody stems and chop them delicately to put them into our dish. But a professional chef is going to use the full stems of the herbs and put everything into a cheesecloth bag and then put it into their stock pot to, like I said, make a stock, a stew, a broth, something like that. So these cheesecloth are actually something that I use all the time. We do sell them individually, just like we do sell elderberries too. The nice thing about this kit specifically is that you get to make it any way you want. So you can make it with honey, you can make it with syrup, you can make it with a sugar-free product, or of course you can omit it completely. So I want to go back all the way to the very beginning on why. Why should you do it? That was the basics of how. I just wanted to show you absolutely how easy the process is. The why. Why should you bother to do this? Elderberries specifically have been shown to disarm the enzyme that viruses use to penetrate your cells, specifically in your nose, lungs, and throat. That's how you get sick. So elderberries have been shown to be able to stop the enzyme from allowing the virus to penetrate your cells, which is the whole reason why you should be drinking elderberries, elderberry products, elderberry syrup prior to you getting an infection. It's going to strengthen the durability of those cells. Trials have also shown, clinical trials have shown that consuming elderberries and elderberry syrup products have been able to speed your recovery and shorten the duration of your infection. People who have taken, I'm going to tell you how much, people who have used an elderberry product every single day during an infection, 20% of them have reported a lessening in symptoms on day 1. 90% of people showed after 3 days that their symptoms were completely gone because they used a product like this, versus 70% of people with a placebo had absolutely no reaction whatsoever. So I think elderberries are a great part to add to your everyday lifestyle. I think now we sell a lot of elderberry syrup, but I don't really feel like it's seasonal. I don't think the cold and flu season is seasonal, but most of us think about it more when the weather changes. I'm from Northern Ohio. We just had snow for the first time this year. Everyone, it's just on your mind about your immune system. But this is a really lovely product. We sell it all year, and it's something, hopefully, you'll find a good reason to add it to your everyday life. The nice thing about the syrup is, yes, it's nice and sweet, and you can add it as a syrup to your oatmeal, your waffles and pancakes, maybe your yogurt. You can add your elderberries to honey and put it into your tea, or you can leave it the way I have. This concentrate is what I consume. This is just the concentrated, the elderberry syrup kit with water, reduced to 2 cups, without any sweetener. Technically, I'm going to call it a juice, right? If I were just to steep the berries and the spices with water, I would call that tea. But since it's concentrated, I would call it a juice. If I were to add it to honey or syrup, I would then call it a syrup, something like that. This juice is really nice. It can freeze. You can put it into ice cube trays and freeze it. And then you can just take an ice cube tray out every day, an ice cube out every day, and add it to your cup of tea, to your morning smoothie. Whatever you're consuming, it's completely caffeine free. The product that we sell is sugar free. It depends what you add to it. Those of you who are living a sugar-free lifestyle, don't hesitate to contact me. I can send you a link to products that I'm familiar with. I'm not an affiliate. I don't get paid by these other companies, but I know that there is a company that is manufacturing a very natural sugar-free honey substitute. I've used another company that has a sugar-free syrup substitute. They have a maple flavor, they have maple pecan, they have a caramel, they have a strawberry. All of those are really, really nice to use with your elderberry syrup if you are living a sugar-free lifestyle. I don't feel like it's a seasonal thing, but I will say that our elderberry syrup kit has cinnamon stick, orange peel, cloves, and allspice. To me, those are some of my favorite fall spices. I definitely think about them a lot during this time of year. I'm craving them. They're in some of my favorite seasonal teas, and I'm just gravitating towards them more. So in a few minutes, I will also talk about my favorite teas that we sell that I tend to mix with my elderberry syrup. Like I said, you've got choices. You can add things to it or not. You can freeze it. You can also add some gelatin to it. When you've made your concentrate, again, after this boils down, it'll yield approximately 2 cups of liquid, of concentrated liquid. You can add it to a 1/4 cup gelatin powder and a 1/2 cup boiling water and whisk like crazy until that gelatin is dissolved. And then you can make gummies. So that's really nice if you've got littles in your life or just someone who is not a tea drinker, but you know you want them to have the health benefits of this product. And when you make it yourself, you know what's not in it. You know that there's nothing added. And gummies are perfect for you to have the choice on the dosage right away. A lot of little kids are used to vitamins that are in gummy form nowadays, or they're used to small candies, they're used to the chewable, not just jello texture, but a little bit thicker than that, like a gummy bear. And what's great is you can buy those silicone molds just about anywhere. I have probably a dozen different shapes and sizes. So in a day, if you're an adult, all you really need is a teaspoon. This right here is a cup of the elderberry syrup reduced, the concentrate. This little guy is 1 ounce. 1 ounce. It holds my little tiny baby cup. But I've measured out 1 teaspoon here in this vessel. And I know my camera is probably not going to pick up how small this is. But this is 1 teaspoon. So 1/3 of an ounce, it's really not a lot, but it has all of the goodness that you need. Now, if you are a smaller person, that's say like under 8 years old, a 1/2 teaspoon would be enough. So when you're thinking about making your gummies, if you're going to make them really, really tiny for someone maybe under 4 years old, or if you're going to make them more of an inch type size, you can measure out specifically how much elderberry syrup is in the mold that you are specifically using. I love it. It's really versatile. I think everyone, I would say just about everyone, likes cinnamon and orange and cloves. It's just such a universal flavor. Now keep in mind though, you can just make this as tea, but elderberries by themselves are known to be kind of tart, which is why most people are compelled to make this concentrate and add it to honey or syrup because it's so tart on its own. But if you like tartness, this is absolutely a fabulous product for you to naturally be adding to your coffee, your tea, your smoothies, your daily life. In addition to beverages like this, you can also make shrubs and thickeners out of your elderberry syrup concentrate, your juice, prior to adding the sweetener. That's what I would do anyway. You could have some of this around and add it to an adult beverage. It's wonderful in gin and vodka to make an elderberry. I think most people think of maybe an apple martini, but an elderberry martini is very sophisticated and very fun and very seasonal. You can definitely add it to punch. You can add it to brandy. One of my favorite things is a hot toddy, of course. When we're coming in, it's 18 degrees outside. It's so silly. It's 18 degrees outside, and we're coming in and making a hot cup of tea. We're going to add a little nip of brandy. A little bit of honey is typical in a hot toddy. Definitely a time to grab that elderberry syrup. Again, the product has no caffeine, and if you've already made it sweet, it's perfect to add to your hot tea and brandy as a toddy. A lot of our teas make fabulous toddies. I'm going to talk to you about them now as well. For those of you watching live, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. I make this all the time. The when though, when are you going to make this and how long is it going to last you? That has a lot to do with the size of your family, how many people are consuming it. I would say if you've made the concentrate, you would want to consume it within 2 weeks, of course. And if you can't, I would put it in the freezer. If you're someone, maybe you're a solo person and you're the only one going to be consuming it, go ahead and make the full batch of the concentrate and then pour it into ice cube trays. Whether they're smaller ice cubes or larger ones, you can decide on that. But once it's frozen, it'll last you until you're done with the ice cubes. That won't be a problem. But I would say maybe a quarter, like a quarter of the year. Like I would probably make this every 3 months. But like I said, the 2 cups of concentrate you really should consume in 2 weeks unless it is frozen. Also, that reminds me, I wanted to display, to demonstrate how simple it is, even for those of you who are not gourmet chefs like I am. If you're not in the kitchen experimenting, how easy it is and how you really don't need too many ingredients. But for those of you who are one notch up, who do have an Instant Pot, it's going to take you even less. And I think those of you who have an Instant Pot, you know how easy it is. Same ingredients, right? You're going to put your berries and your water into the Instant Pot. Now, if I'm going to use my Instant Pot, I might not use the cheesecloth. You need to decide on that, on your model, if that's going to be okay for you. It's only going to take 9 minutes. Once you put the lid on and it seals, literally set it for 9 minutes and you are golden. Keep in mind though, my tip, whether you're doing Instant Pot or on the stovetop, that you are going to want to simmer this for an hour, but when it's done, whether it's Instant Pot or the stovetop, once it's done, you're going to set it aside on your countertop to bring it up to room temperature before you stir in the honey or the syrup. If you're going to use agave or some sort of sweetener into your concentrate, wait until it's at room temperature. You're not going to want to do it when the liquid's really hot. Just chill. That's the nice thing about doing this in the afternoon. If you do it in the afternoon during tea time, your whole entire kitchen is going to smell so fabulous, and you can just set it aside. This is not a cooking technique that is labor intensive. You're not stirring the pot for 3 hours. You let it simmer for an hour after you've walked away, you know? You let it sit on the counter and walk away. It's easy peasy. Deal with it once it's cooled down. Oh yes, and if I didn't say it, I think I said it once, but I'm going to say it again. This in particular, this product, when you're making it this way, this concentrated product, you're only going to use your elderberries one time. With our company, all of the loose leaf tea that I sell, you can re-steep those tea leaves 2, 3, 4 times over and over again. If you're cold steeping, you can do it all day long, no problem. This is one of those times, because you're making a concentrate and it takes a full hour, that you're really going to concentrate. You're going to get all of the goodness into your pot. So don't reuse them in this particular case. I think I talked to you about all of those good things. Let's dive into the tea really fast. These are just some of my favorite teas that I use when I have my elderberry syrup going. This is one of those things, I will do it morning, noon, or night. It doesn't matter. So I've picked a couple. Just so you know, we do sell just elderberries. We always have. elderberries for us, we have called it, it's in a section with our caffeine-free teas that we have called a tea add-in. So elderberry, sure, you can just drink it on your own if you want, but it is very tart. Most people enjoy the health benefits of elderberries, so they're adding it to their cup of tea. There are many teas that we sell that have a great berry taste, or it's complementary to elderberries. So you can absolutely add a pinch of elderberries to every cup of tea that you drink. We do sell just the brew bags separately if you would like to own just the brew bags. It's a package of 4. Like I said, it comes with, when you buy the 2.5 ounce of our elderberry syrup kit, you get 2 brew bags. If you buy the 5 ounce, you will get 4 of them. But I'm going to call that a single use. I'd probably throw it away when it's done. If this is for tea, your tea drinking, you're going to love it. We've got it separate for you, especially if you're making a jug of tea. It's perfect. Now, I realized that some of my favorite teas are in some of our seasonal collections. So I'm going to talk about those really quick. We have a pumpkin patch collection right now. Yes, it's 6 pumpkin teas. Of course it is. It's the pumpkin patch. If you're watching it on the replay, we might not have it available, but right now we do. And I've got 2 that are absolutely my favorite. Adding the elderberry syrup juice, concentrate or syrup, to our pumpkin juice. It's one of my favorites. The pumpkin juice does have pumpkin, of course, pumpkin spice. So the spices in our kit taste really good with this. This tea also has some sweetness to it. It has some maple and some apple. These are things that are just perfect. They just lend themselves wonderful to add that elderberry syrup right in this pumpkin juice. Oh, and it's a black tea. So if I'm drinking tea in the morning, I like that one. This one here is, let's see, where did I put it? Oh, here it is. Pumpkin pasties. The pumpkin pasties. This one is another perfect that I love the elderberry syrup with. This tea is kind of a blend of both pumpkin pie and apple pie. So again, I love a little bit of spice in here. The elderberry syrup has got spice, so that's helpful. I love apples and berries together. So this is another great tea that I love. Mix it. But this one's caffeine free. So if I'm drinking tea at night, this is my go-to. Jennifer says she likes to add like 5 or so elderberries to some of her teas. That's exactly the perfect amount. I was thinking myself, 5. Yes, exactly. A 1/4 teaspoon. I don't really even measure. I just kind of shake them in there. Again, you don't need much. It's just a wonderful berry, and it has just so much power in those little tiny berries. You really don't need much, especially if you don't like your tea tart. It's wonderful that you don't have to add like a ton. You know what I'm saying? I also noticed that our 12 Days of Christmas bundle has another series of teas that I absolutely love to add to our elderberry syrup. So I wanted to talk to you about those, my favorites. One of my favorites in the 12 Days of Christmas bundle is the Christmas Tidings. This Christmas Tidings is pretty fabulous, and it has a really good taste of both the orange and the cloves. So it's the cloves that really get me. It really speaks to me. It's really Christmassy. This is a perfect one to add to the elderberry syrup, or the elderberry syrup to this cup of tea. Again, this is a black tea. It is seasonal, perfect for the morning. Let me do another black tea while we're talking about 12 Days of Christmas and black teas. Our Sugar Plum Fairy. This one, again, black tea, so it does have 60 milligrams of caffeine per cup. It is seasonal. This one has cinnamon and plums. So, of course, as you can imagine, it's going to taste fabulous with the elderberry, cinnamon, and orange. It's just a perfect addition. So, Sugar Plum Fairy. And I have 2 more for those of you who like your tea at night. Did I put it in the queue? Oh, I didn't. Well, I'm going to talk to you about them anyway. Cran Apple Wassail. That's pretty obvious, right? The Cran Apple Wassail is fabulous with the elderberry syrup kit. Whether you've got the concentrate, the juice, or of course just the tea. You can put a scoop of the dried elderberry syrup kit tea product into your Cran Apple Wassail. That's perfect. And these 2, The crane apple wassail and Yuletide toddies are our favorites in our house if we are making an evening hot toddy. This one has got cranberry, cinnamon, and cherry. Nice and sweet. Both of these are good hot. They're both good cold. But like I said, if I'm going to make a hot toddy, I'm making my tea really, really hot. I'm adding a nip of brandy, or I suppose whatever your favorite is, right? Brandy or whiskey. And typically a hot toddy has got maybe some lemon juice or a sweetener of some sort, a dash of honey, a syrup or something. So it just depends if you've got your concentrate already sweetened, how much you're going to add, but it's perfect. It's perfect, it's quick, it's easy, it's great for your sore throat, and now you know why. Now you know. All those great benefits are right in the elderberries that we love. Like I said, friends, right now we sell the elderberry syrup kits year round, but it is definitely on a lot of people's minds. We really do sell more of it this time of year, so you want to grab yourself a bag. We have it in 2 sizes. Let's see. If anyone has any questions who is live, don't hesitate to ask. It's funny that I'm talking about like one and only product for a half an hour, but it was important. It's an important product. Lots and lots of health benefits. So I want to say thank you so much for coming this evening. Thanks for hanging out and listening. I appreciate it. And friends, no matter what you do with the rest of your day, have yourself a cup of tea and take care of you.